I don't know if this is working. I think it is. Hi, guys. So I am not really doing much. I'm having a lazy Sunday, and I thought I would get on here and do my video that I was going to do, and just do it live. Okay, yeah, it's over here. So I wanted to talk and give a little bit of update on the Gabby Petito. And I'm going to try not to show my hands. If you can see my hands, I had a horrible spray tan gone wrong. So I wanted to give an update since did 2 videos on it. I've been watching this like nonstop, all the coverage on it. It is crazy to me about like how many people just put out false information. And I used to think like people did it because they were just putting information out the best of their ability of what they thought. And now I'm learning like people just, nope, they just boldface put stuff out there on purpose for whatever reason, whether it's to get clicks or views. But so now Brian Laundrie is, I don't want to say missing. He is on the run. I don't know though. And I don't know if this may be something that would not happen. I'm not really sure. But I was wondering if maybe they are saying he is gone because they're trying to get all of the traffic in the protesting in front of the house. But I don't know if they would go with such an elaborate, scheme to do that. Her best friend has now came forward, and she has claimed that he was a very jealous boyfriend, and in fact that they were going to go to a bar one night and hang out, and when they got there, her ID was gone, so they couldn't get in the bar. She had to go back home and get her ID, and I'm sure that probably caused a fight. So he was very jealous. Anything could have happened, and that's why I don't really want to make too many, accusations. But I think it's just really the way he handled it afterwards is what makes stuff not, sound right. His demeanor. And I know after watching the video, a lot of people think that, it looked like she was the aggressor. She was the one with the marks, very understandably. But I also know guys too. A lot of women can be reactive. I'm one who can be very reactive, especially and I've gotten better with age, okay? But in my 20s, I would be like quick to use my hands to get my feelings out there. So especially when you have a guy who's just so nonchalant about it, like he's not even bothered about being upset, and your world as a woman is crushing, and he acts like he just don't care, and which is not right. No one should ever put their hands on anybody, whether you're a woman or a man. But I don't know. There's something about him I just don't really like. There's also a rumor, I will say, but I actually seen the news. I just watched the news put this out there about the TikToker who supposedly saw Brian or gave him a ride, which I'm not going to put that out there because we do not know if this TikToker is just trying to get views or what. We do not know the truth behind that. So I am not ready to go on my channel and say that's facts. I just finished watching The Police. They are they're being left with egg on their face right now. I don't understand how the one, can't really say suspect because he wasn't a suspect, but the one person who is your main person who could possibly lead you to where Gabby is now in the wind. So yeah, especially with the FBI being there, I was very surprised about that. What else? I tried to I put a board so I could try to remember what I wanted to talk about. It's another reason why I don't do a lot of streams, because if you watch any of my content, you will know I'm pretty much everywhere with it. I get sidetracked very easily. So I tried to put words so I can stay on topic about what I want to talk about. So let me make sure. That's why I was looking over there. But what do you guys think? I cannot believe they don't have, which we don't know if they have pinged the phone or, hello, Gwen. We're not sure if they pinged the phone or not. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff the police are doing in the background that we have no clue that they are doing. That's another reason why you can't just run with anything and everything, because you don't know what's really happening in the background, what information they're getting. It is hello, Dolly. It's a very sad case. I don't know. And, I know what I wanted to show, but I try to get on my live on my split broadcaster because I know how to actually put stuff up on my channel to show you guys, but I couldn't do it. So I had to go through StreamYard, and I don't know how to do it, how to put stuff up on my screen on StreamYard yet. But Critical K is so bothered by this case that she cannot be on YouTube to talk about this case. So I wanted to read, and I got this off of the glares, and I'm actually going to play something that he put on there. Michelle says, I don't believe the TikToker. I kind of don't either. I think something's iffy about that one. So this is what Critical K started a Facebook page, if you guys don't know. And which I think is funny because I was watching Will the other day, and he literally said Critical K would go straight to victim blaming and blaming the family, and she didn't disappoint. That's exactly what she did. So I'm going to read this really quick, and then I'll play what he says. So this is what Kay had to say on her Facebook page. I keep going back to the officer telling Gabby multiple times he could help her find somewhere to shower. I bet she smelled. Why is nobody discussing the fact these two 22 and 24-year-olds were living in a cluttered up van like a couple of vagabonds, barely making it, showering God knows where, toiletrying God knows where, using God knows what drugs. That's a good way to just make accusations. Having God knows how many fights because they're spending every waking moment together for 4 months. Why isn't anyone asking where her parents were when she made this ridiculous and foolish decision to live like a gypsy and travel around with no means to barely exist with a guy she probably already had problems with? Her father didn't sit her down and say, hey, honey, this isn't the smartest idea. His family didn't sit him down and say, hey, Brian, maybe this could end badly, since neither of you have a pot to piss in, no money, and 2 young adults sharing the back of a van is a dangerous situation anyways, with the way the world is today. Crammed up in the midst of all their garbage and junk, and they run about 8 to 11,000. So she looked up how much like a van would cost if you redid it. Yeah, exactly, Gwen. I'm like, nobody said anything because these are 2 adults. They're not children. They're not kids. I mean, when I was their age, I done had my own house. I had a child. Like, they're not babies. And I'm sure their parents talk to them about safety and all that. So she talks about how much it costs to buy one of these, which I don't think that's entirely true either. And she wants to know where they got the money for it. And if they had the money for that, why not buy a super light, ultra light travel trailer and tow it behind a vehicle? You can get one for around $5,000 with at least water and a toilet for hygiene reasons and space to spread out if you're going to be on the road for months. I mean, we've actually talked about taking a school bus and redoing a school bus to making an RV. I would love to be able to travel and go on the road. If I didn't have nothing tying me down here and, kids, once my kids get older, like that would be a dream to be able to do that. And she says something about don't judgy much. Okay, because then she says, please don't lecture me about how awesome van life is and how I don't have the right to judge their decisions. This case is viral. Everyone has opinions, and I'm entitled to mine. Don't like them and can't debate them in a civil manner, then scroll on. I'm going to let Glare, he I gave up on trying to follow it. So I just screen recorded Claire reading what she had to say next. Hopefully you guys can hear it.
My God, OMG, light bulb moment here. You're also supportive of this van life because it's been made a thing on social media by people doing it for likes and clicks and follows. This case is a study in human social media behavior, how easily people can be brainwashed and convinced into throwing away basic standards of living and even defend it with, it's cool, it's a thing. Look how hippie and bohemian it is, and look how happy we are all living with zero comforts.
I hope you don't care I played that, but I'm like, that is the exact reason why she got taken off the platform. So just know she hasn't changed. She's just on Facebook running at the mouth. Education, that's what I thought too. Like I'm sorry, but that van, the way they had that was awesome. Like, that's cool. I don't know. I guess if you don't like outdoorsy and stuff like that, if you don't like camping, then I guess it ain't your thing. But I thought it was awesome. And the way she had it clean. And also the way when they got the van back, how it was just destroyed, a mess. So that was something, a red flag also. I think it's going crazy. Okay, so I also wanted to talk about whether or not, did you guys see Tia Simone's stream last night? If you have not, go check it out, because I don't think enough people talk about it. It was about addiction and mental health issues, and I don't think it gets talked about enough. I think there's such a horrible stigma about it, and a lot of times people don't bring up their mental health, because when people get mad, the first thing they go to is throwing someone's mental health back up in their face. And I think that is completely wrong. I really enjoyed the stream. Sadly, I don't make too many people's streams because, well, my bedtime is 9. I like 8 o'clock, I'm like heading upstairs to go to bed. I get up at like 4 in the morning, but hello, Steph. I get up really early, but I go to sleep really early too. So I always miss everybody's lives. And she said she's going to do another one, and I really hope to see it. And actually, I seen Steph in there too as well in the stream. We were talking about Tia's stream she did last night. I do not think there is enough resources for anywhere, especially when you live in like more smaller towns. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know this. I live in a small town. But in the bigger towns, do they have places where you can just go and like get a bed? Because around here, you don't. They don't have anything like that. It's actually, you have to have money, which is mind-blowing to me, because if you're an addict, you do not have, obviously you don't have money by the time you end up going to get help. Yes, it was a great, great stream. I enjoyed it so much. I've shared a little bit about actually when I first came on, and that also bothers me, the sad fishing thing. I get so tired of hearing sad fishing, because I do not think there's nothing wrong with anybody sharing their stories and calming the chaos and getting to know each other. Like, what are you afraid of if you get to know somebody's story, that you're actually going to feel some similar way with them? Like, you're going to see them as an actual person? Education. I live near the Cape, and anyone is watching American. Really? Yeah, I can't stand that word. And I just, yeah, I have dealt with it both ways. I've dealt with it, addiction myself and with family members. And I know how hard it is to try to get an adult person to go get help, especially when they are not ready to go get help. It's not easily, I don't know, around here, our state hospital doesn't take patients. Like you can't, there's no beds. It's like they're not in operation anymore. And I'm not really sure why. So you have people out here who desperately need help and nobody will do anything. You can be a family member and you could be crying to the place to get your family member help, and there's nothing they can do. Their hands are tied. There's not enough resources, and it's awful. There was this lady at baseball. She was talking about her son, her minor son, and it was awful because she said the way she was talking about her son, like part of me was like, wow, that's your son, that's your child. But then another part was like, I don't know. I couldn't believe it. Like she said, her son was so off the wall, like just hurting others, just really bad. And she was begging the police to take him, and they wouldn't take him. There's nothing that they would do. The way our skills of treatment is. I also heard, and I wanted to look it up before I went live, but I heard the maker of OxyContin is also they also make Suboxone. Do not fact check me on that. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not positive. I wanted to look that up because I just remember when I heard that, I remember thinking that, you get money by getting them addicted, but then you still get money because now you have them. Is that true? Now you have them, still getting money off of them for getting clean. That's mind blowing. I do not think something like that should be able to happen. Gwen got clean 35 years ago. I did it alone at home. That's awesome to hear. I think I am at 2.5 years now. I was so proud whenever I got clean, and then I don't know, it was like the stigma that went around it. When I first got clean, I was like screaming it to the rooftops because it was such an accomplishment. I was a functioning addict, but both my parents were addicts. I was raised by my grandmother. By the time I was at 12 years old, I was already sniffing that rubber cement, just anything to get rid of, away from my childhood. By 14, I was on meth. I got clean by 17. I had my son. But when he was 6 months old, I was prescribed Vicodin. And that was it. I was baseball mom. I was den leader. I ended up taking over the scout group. I was PTA mom. I never knew how to say no. Hello, Hannah. And I just never knew how to say no about anything. So I was exhausted, but I would just take more and it would keep me going. And I think my rock bottom was finally my family saying, we are going to leave. I had a script I was going to bring those too. I still have 2 scripts left over that I put up, and it was some kind of like a comfort for me knowing I had them, even though I wouldn't be able to get them filled anyways because it was, now they would question them. But I have 120 scripts, and they were kind of like my comfort, and I still have these scripts, these paper scripts. But I had 240 a month of those, and then I was spending about $1,000 a month, and I would get so sick that it was bad. But I ended up going into a facility, and they gave me clotidine, and something I never knew about was clotidine. And so if you're an addict and you're worried about going through the withdrawal, because I know that's what scares people the most. That's what made me so scared. One, I was afraid that once I made the decision, I was going to be red flagged by all doctors. I would never be able to, get any more. So if I made this public, then it's public and I'm screwed. If I change my mind and want to be an addict again, I'm just going to have to go straight to the streets. And 2, I didn't want to deal with the withdrawing because the withdrawing was just so intense. I would sit there in a ball and feel, the hot and cold, I think, is the worst for me. but that clotidine helped tremendously. So there is medications that can help you withdraw easier. But and when you know somebody and you love somebody who's an addict, it's so hard because you know what they're feeling like. I've had family members like cry. People I've never seen cry. Grown adults bawl like a baby. And because your heart, and you know how they feel, and you know how much they're hurting. But also, what you have to do. You know that they have to hit rock bottom. You have to tell them no, and it's hard. Kudzu is an herb that helps withdraw from opiates. I've never heard of that. I have heard about oh my goodness, I don't know what it's called. They come in they have capsules, and I can't even think of it right now. But I know a lot of people get clean off of that. I've had that same thought, not telling people just in case I wanted to continue using. Yeah, well, it's out there now, so I'm red flag. But that's okay. I know, and like I tell other family members who are still, and friends and people I know are still stuck in the rut. I have money to spend. Like, I used to not have anything. Like, we would be like, how are we having this money? But we have nothing. We are not moving forward. We're not doing nothing with our lives financially. Now I can go out, like right now, if I wanted to go on a little shopping spree, I could go on a little shopping spree. I mean, I'm still a little too tight with my money to do that. I don't like buying stuff for myself, but I have the money to do it. Also, I do not have to worry every day if I'm going to be sick. I can make plans, future plans, and I don't have to worry about canceling them because I may or may not have my medicine for that day. I don't have to worry about going into work sick. That's huge. It's huge. All right, Suboxone, methadone. What are you saying about it, you girl? I don't know about methadone. I can't speak on methadone. I taken methadone, but it wasn't to get clean. But Suboxone, there's a lot of back and forth, and I have talked to doctors about this. Actually, I was supposed to try to get somebody on the channel to talk about Suboxone, because Suboxone, for a lot of people, can be a life-saving tool, including myself. From my understanding, and this is a debate with people, some people say it's true, some people say it's not. I asked a doctor, but they told me, what I'm getting ready to say. But another person was like, well, you're asking a Suboxone doctor. Ask just a regular doctor, and that answer may change. From my understanding, and this is what I was told, and I hate to put this out here and not be true, but I was told that when you take Suboxone, you hit a plateau. Like, you can only get so much in your system. It's like you can't keep taking more and get high off that. Some people don't even get high off Suboxone. Some people do. I never did. I never got anything off of it. And I think that's why I never had a problem with Suboxone, because I didn't feel nothing off of it. But some people I hear do get some kind of feeling off of it. Methadone is addictive. I know somebody who, I think if it's used correctly, I can't speak on methadone, but if methadone or Suboxone, if you are able to take it and live a functioning life, whether it's working, taking care of your kids, then, I just say go for it if you're able to use it right. I knew this guy, and he was this really heavy set man, and he used to go to the methadone clinic. And I don't know how, because I always thought you had to actually go there and get your dose. But he would come home with a bottle, and like every morning we would all get a teaspoon of it. So I don't know. And he would just sit there and doze off all day long. So that's all I know about methadone. I also wanted to talk about one more thing. See, stuff. A person can absolutely get high off of it. I did, but I didn't like how it made me feel, but not everything was, yeah. And see, a close friend of mine said she actually felt something off of it too. She got high off of it. Different people have different experiences with different things. But like I said, if it's helping you where you can live a functioning life, then go for it. And some people and some believe that it should be a tool used for like a short period of time. And some people say, you may have to be on for the rest of your life. I don't know how I feel about that. All I'm saying is if you're living a functioning life, go for it. But I also wanted to bring up the whole Trisha Paytas thing. I'm doing this because I did not want to make a video. I just didn't feel like making a video this weekend. I had no plans whatsoever on my schedule. It has been a lazy weekend, and I'm like, I'm not editing. I'm not going to upload. I'm just going to get on live and say what I feel and be done with it. I don't have to upload nothing. I even took a nap today. I never get naps. It was nice. But I want to talk about the Trisha Paytas and Mysterious Tea. And that's another thing that people have been debating, going back and forth, whether or not Mysterious Tea was in the right or whether she was in the wrong. And where I feel is, I think Trisha went through some trauma. I absolutely do. But I also don't believe in, you should never question, you should never question the victims. And as a survivor, that should piss you off more, that someone may be lying about something like that. I don't know. I just feel, what about the teacher and his family? Again, I do think something happened to Trisha, but I just don't know if I believe the teacher. And I feel like, everything was her own words, and there's just a stigma that you shouldn't question. And I actually made a video about this in the past, about something completely different. And I feel like I don't know if I made it to a video getting ready to upload, but I remember putting it all together. And then at the last minute, I was like, no, I'm not going to put this out because it's going to be too debatable. That's not really the word. I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for, but too many different opinions on this. But I actually had in the video several different guys who were accused and their lives were ruined over it. But it's a very sensitive topic. It's a very, you have to be careful because you don't want victims not to come forth because they may or may not be afraid that someone's going to call them a liar. But also it's not fair for, people to have their lives ruined over accusations like that. It's very just a tricky place to be. I don't know. Trish, to me, when she was on the Friendlies, I really enjoyed her, but she's a troll. She has said so many things, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't believe them. But like I put on my community post, some people need to read the story about, the Don't Cry Wolf. Gwen, I think it's not our place to question it. I think she needs help, and perhaps someone can get her help and the teacher's family can sue her. I agree. I don't think the teacher's family could sue just because the guy's not alive anymore. But I agree and I don't. Like, I agree because obviously I don't feel like I should be talking about someone else's situation when it comes to that. But then I also don't think Trisha should have put it out there publicly. And I think the reason she did, because she didn't think anybody would question it, because most people don't. If a woman, a lady tells you that, you're not going to question that. You're just going to believe them. And I think she was quite surprised when somebody actually looked up the truth about it. Didn't a fellow classmate come forward and say that this teacher was doing things he shouldn't, or did I hear that wrong? No, Steph, I think a classmate, okay, this was what I understood. Mysterious T said it was another classmate that was actually in her video, correct me if I'm wrong, that came forward and said and backed up Trisha's story. But Mysterious T said she thought it was odd that this classmate would come out pretty much of nowhere to back up this story. And something about when people were asking the tough questions to her, she just disappeared. And something about her dad was the cop, the sheriff of the town. I don't know. It was a lot to take in, which she said that her disappearing kind of made it look like she was lying, which I don't know how true that is, because I don't think that's necessarily true. She may just not wanted to get her family dragged, and oh crap, I got in way too deep. She is too much of an attention seeker, and that's what happens. And that's the sad thing. You put out so many different things that aren't true. People don't know what to believe, and it's sad. But I do think she needs professional help. I really do think she went through some stuff. I do. I honestly do. Steph Tixon. Yes, a former classmate did come forward and confirm that there was issues with this teacher. Trisha is beginning to remind me, yeah, they always kind of reminded me of each other, like two peas in a pod, those two. I don't know. That's all I really wanted to go over. I wanted to just update that Brian is now on the run. And I am very worried about what's going to happen next. I'm worried about his mental state, because I'm afraid that if something happens with him, then we are never going to know where Gabby is. Michelle, you can go through terrible stuff and not behave like her. Absolutely. Yeah. I pray they both get some real mental help. Yeah. And that's another thing I've been witnessing on other creators. Just because, I'll just use me as an example. Just because I have dealt with something like addiction doesn't mean I can go out here and do, whatever I feel like doing, be this horrible person and then hide behind my addiction. That's not right either. And I see a lot of people do that, which I will never, ever come for somebody. I do not think you should ever come for somebody if they have any type of, disability or, addiction or anything like that. You should never go for those things. But I also don't think you should hide behind those things either. That doesn't give you a free pass to be a shitty person. And a lot of people use that. They get and do whatever they want. They get themselves in hot water, and then they start hollering, feel bad for me. But everyone's pain and past experiences manifest differently. To me, I wouldn't compare how one acts to another, but I'm saying that I don't condone certain actions that Trisha has done in past. Yeah, I can see that too. Also, I seen somebody was talking about, a survivor's. A lot of people get their stories mixed up. They don't remember certain things, which that can be very well be true. I know for myself, there's a lot of stuff that I forgot. Good things and bad things that had happened. Like my memory it was gone. And the therapist actually told me that your mind is actually trying to protect itself. So it makes those thoughts disappear, those memories. So that's very well could be. My thing is though, like how many different type accusations? If this was like the first couple things that I could see, but it's like so many different things. In my experience, I say it's very foggy. I think that's a way that's exactly what I just said, Steph. We're right on the same thing here. Yeah, it happens a lot of childhood trauma. Your brain has to protect itself. You can block out things for years. I've done that. Yeah, probably in my 20s is when I started getting memories back. Even good memories. My brain even blocked out good memories. And it's weird, sometimes I could just be standing there, and maybe it's the way the sun hits my shoulders and the wind blows past my face, or the fall crisp air I smell. It's like at that very moment, I'm standing there as a child again. It's weird. And it could be good memories too, not all bad. If I am unclear on a memory, I would never speak on it. Gwen, and I literally have years missing. Absolutely. It's a very tricky situation. All right, guys. What time is it? 2. I am absolutely doing nothing. What is this, Sunday? I gotta go work tomorrow. Hopefully I will start doing this a little bit more. I gotta figure out how to put stuff up on the screen so you're not just seeing me, so we can be looking at other things together. Steph, but I don't think anyone's essay is up for discussion, my opinion. Yeah, I get it. I have that with smells. So I do it with smells. Like music does it too a lot, but the smell, it's just like everything has to be right, like perfect. It's like all of a sudden I'm just standing there, and then it's like a 7-year-old me is standing there. It's a very weird experience. All right. Have a good weekend, guys. I am going to hop off here. Thank you guys so much for coming in and talking with me. I appreciate you guys. And until next time, guys, take care. Bye, guys. See you later.